Hi everyone, this is Dave Bolan here at the Dell'Oro Group. We're a market research firm based in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I'm the industry analyst for the mobile core network and the multi-access edge computing network here, market here at Dell'Oro Group. Today, what I want to talk to you about is the market opportunity for MEC for MNOs. And we ask the question, is it too big to be ignored? What we want to cover today to give us all a foundation, what is MEC? What is the architecture? So we all have a common definition for this discussion. What is the MEC market opportunity for that definition? And how are MNOs already using MEC or MEC or mobile edge compute today in their networks today, so we can all learn from them. So to answer the question up front, is the MEC market too big to be ignored? We think it's a market that you should not ignore. It is, we believe, a tremendous opportunity to increase revenues for mobile network operators around the world. We've identified over 25 million MEC sites around the world where MEC can be deployed for what we call MEC-enabled private wireless networks. We forecast the growth at 67% compounded annual growth rate. And we'll see these numbers here and how we arrived at those. And we'll have learnings from the MNOs in South Korea, the United States, and China, so you can learn from them. Now, ETSI defined MEC architecture starting back in 2014. The journey began. The MEC system level, the MEC host level, and the network level. And this is where mobile edge compute acronym morphed into multi-access edge computing, because ETSI realized not only can the 3GPP networks use the 5G core, but a local network like a Wi-Fi network could be managed with a 5G core, as well as external networks such as a wireline network or non-cellular IoT networks can all take advantage of being managed by the 5G core infrastructure. What's also nice is that the MEC architecture does integrate well with the 5G core because of the carrier and user plane separation. The user plane function, where the user data is located, can be processed by one of these MEC systems at the edge site, giving us that low latency performance. So 3GPP and ETSI have worked together to harmonize the standards to make sure everything works well together. At Dell'Oro Group here, we define two types of MEC service for MEC-enabled private wireless networks. One is public MEC for off-premises. Enterprises have geographic requirements that are not confined to their factories, such as drone applications, smart grids, and vehicles of any kind, autonomous driving vehicles, logistic companies, health services, public safety entities all have geographic coverage requirements. And you can give them a virtual private network basically with the network slicing function with the MEC site that's located to one of your public RAN sites, giving that geographic coverage. And then we have on-premises or private MEC. And this is where you put the RAN on-site and the MEC on-site and give these capabilities to an enterprise, giving them the lowest latency capability, and they get the additional benefit of data sovereignty with the data right there on site. You can deploy MEC in various locations around the network, and as you get closer to the RAN site, you get lower and lower latency. And this is where you get the best benefit as far as lowering your backhaul costs. As you get closer to the RAN site, that means less backhaul to another site. When we talk about the latency here that's identified, it's only the round trip time of a single fiber hop. You also need to add the latency for multi-hops, compute time, as well as the storage and retrieval time for the data that's being consumed at the local site. And then private MEC there is on-premise giving us the best performance possible. Another thing to consider in deploying MEC is what kind of capabilities that you want your MEC to have. We believe that an MNO that builds its own telco cloud has the benefits of integrating many third-party service solutions to those enterprises. Maybe enterprises already have a preferred vendor in their IT department, such as hyperscalers, and now they want to extend 5G connectivity, and the hyperscalers are saying we have these capabilities, and they want to use the same service provider, the same hyperscaler. So now, whatever the enterprise prefers, you have the ability to offer them the flavor of an enterprise solution that they may prefer by integrating it into your telco cloud network. One of the biggest benefits that we see for the MNO actually is not only increasing revenues, but reducing your backhaul costs. As we mentioned, you can reduce your backhaul costs the most by putting it at the RAN site, because it may be impractical to backhaul all the data going forward because the growth is growing so dramatically. We're talking a six-fold increase between 21 and 27, or 29% compounded annual growth rate. And it's just going to keep going up with more vision applications that are 8K and 16K resolution. We believe that you shouldn't forget about considering backhaul costs in your equation about offering MEC capabilities to enterprises. Now, where did we get the 25 million MEC locations? For public MEC, put one at every macro base station will give the best performance for your network and the lowest cost at the same time. So 10.5 million base stations is part of the equation, and the other half for private MEC is 14.5 million sites that have been identified for 5G connectivity in industrial enterprises, with manufacturing leading at almost 11 million sites. But there's a lot of other application-specific industries that have a lot of need as well, like mining, which was an early adopter with 54,000 mining sites around the world that could take advantage of 5G connectivity. Smart cities is another opportunity that we see. We think it's an exciting opportunity. Smart cities have lots of venues that they have to cover, convention centers, transportation hubs that they may own, airports, bus stations, train stations. They may have video surveillance, video security applications, public safety applications that they need to manage and provide good service. And we identified over 4,600 cities that have a population of 100,000 that could take advantage of MEC-enabled private wireless networks. And these cities cover 2.4 billion people. And here in North America is just one example. 391 cities that cover 119 million people. Looking at it more from the size of the cities, not every city is created equally, so we thought we'd show you the sizes of the cities. 17 cities that are bigger than 10 million, 233 million people covered in those 17 cities. If we take this down to 50,000 people to 100,000 people, we'll double the number up to 10,000 cities that could take advantage of MEC-enabled private wireless networks. At Dell'Oro Group, we track the MEC servers, the servers used for MEC applications, and the user plane functions used for MEC. And this is where we get our 67% compounded annual growth rate in our 5-year forecast that we just completed in July of 2022. And we expect a very healthy growth rate going forward. Now, looking at the users, in South Korea, when KT launched their 5G network they implemented with 8 public nodes. And they are looking at smart factories, AR, VR, and autonomous car services, as well as new VR games that are coming to market and they launched some of them themselves. So online gaming is a very large market in South Korea. SK Telecom did pretty much the same thing, but they went with 11 MEC nodes, and they advertise that every subscriber is within 100 kilometers. So that gives you very good low latency services. They also are targeting online gaming, and they have now integrated AWS services into 2 of those public MEC nodes and intend to do more going forward to offer an additional service to the enterprises and generate new revenue streams for both the hyperscaler in this case and for SK Telecom as well. Verizon has now launched 19 public MEC locations, and they advertise that 75% of the population is within 240 kilometers, and I'm sure 50% of the population is a lot closer than that, getting great service. And they have integrated AWS services into all 19 of those public MEC nodes. When it comes to the private MEC on premises, they can offer AWS services or Azure services or Google Cloud servers, depending on the preferences of the enterprise and all the applications that they bring to bear to the market that the enterprise wants to take advantage of. Because they're already familiar with their IT programming capabilities, they want to extend that to their operational technology as well. Verizon highlights 3 use cases: vision-assisted product packaging, artificial intelligence, machine learning, high-speed data analytics in real time there on the factory floor, and autonomous mobile robot vision for warehousing and shuttling parts to the factory floor line. In China, China Mobile launched their 5G standalone core back in all 3 China service providers. So in June or July of 2020, and China Mobile's goal is to lower their backhaul costs and at the same time offer lower latency services to their users, a win-win scenario. MEC sites were put in place in all 31 provinces, and now up to 295 of their major cities have MEC sites. On the private MEC site, they have launched 300 leading showcases, and they are mass replicating them now. Now that they've developed them, they're replicating now in smart factories, smart parks, smart mines, smart grids, smart ports, and smart hospitals. And we'll see what the trend here and the momentum they have developed in a few minutes. Same thing for China Telecom. They announced in their first half 2022 report that they have signed 1,300 contracts just in the first half of the year for MEC-enabled private wireless networks. The contract value is up 80% year over year, so you can start to see the momentum being built up. They're focusing on 15 industries, and they also focus 15 or 5G vision applications. They have a solution that they highlighted in their report where they applicated it to 200 hospitals. And now your marketing department can ramp up once you get the catalog of these parts. You know how long it's going to take to implement, what it costs to implement it, and you can start replicating these applications. And now they also talk about the return on the investment in some of these applications. Crane operation efficiency up 15%, aircraft maintenance efficiency up 20%. And these aren't just one-off examples. This aircraft maintenance efficiency is for a nationwide aircraft maintenance company that has multiple tens of locations around the country, all taking advantage of this solution. It's not just in one location. China Unicom talked about generating enterprises in revenue of 3.9 billion RMBs. That's huge to be starting to generate that kind of revenue. And that's just in the first half of the year. They have completed now 2,000 contracts, and this is the amount of revenue they're starting to realize from the implementation of these. Textile manufacturing is one industry they highlighted where the production costs were down 15% and the quality inspection efficiency was up 20%. And they highlighted a smart medical care facility, had over 80 facilities. They implemented some medical consultational application software where the efficiency went up 30%, and doctor training for personnel went up 40% after the implementation of these applications with 5G connectivity on these sites. So again, looking at the return on investment that the enterprise gets and the revenue increase you get as an MNO. So what is the trend in China? Between the three service providers, they have signed over 28,000 contracts now for MEC-enabled private wireless networks, and they've implemented over 5,000 of them. So they still have a backlog of over 23,000 sites. So they still have a long ways to go, and you expect that ramp rate to keep going up as they, with the backlog that they have. And of course, the backlog is going to continue to grow. The marketing departments are not done at those companies, at those MNOs. Now, just to drill down one more step, one last thing here. Another third-party solution provider, if you will, besides a hyperscaler example I gave you, is the Haier Industrial Internet Platform. The Haier Group is a large appliance manufacturer in China with hundreds of factory locations around China, and they developed solutions for themselves first, perfected this platform, and now are offering this platform to other enterprises that China Mobile is marketing for them, I believe. And it's for small and medium enterprises, for other appliance manufacturers, auto part manufacturers. In fact, they've targeted solutions for 15 different industry groups. So now they're leveraging that platform. You can see they're introduced it, I think now it's in 2 regions in 2022 and more coming in 2023 as they roll this out across the country and start offering this to more people. And Haier, having factories everywhere using this, becomes a showcase for any enterprise that wants to go in and see it in action and see it live and see it how it's operating. So here at Dell'Oro Group, we'd like to say MEC is an enabled private wireless network is a win-win scenario for all players. The third-party solution providers like the hyperscalers and the Haier platform that we just talked about now can generate more revenues for themselves by extending their apps for 5G connectivity. MNOs like yourselves lower your costs due to backhaul reduction by implementing MEC and integrating these services into your telco cloud from the third-party service providers, which helps you generate more revenues as well to these enterprises, and addressing a new market opportunity that 5G standalone networks with MEC-enabled capabilities for edge computing. So now the enterprises also win because they get increased productivity, they get a return on an investment with a deterministic network that gives them real-time or near real-time performance. And they also get the benefit of data sovereignty with the private MEC, and they get a virtual private network with network slicing for the public MEC networks. So again, just to repeat myself, a win-win-win scenario for all players. A market opportunity that should not be ignored. I think MNOs should really be focused on this opportunity to grow their revenues and lower their costs. So thank you very much for your time. Appreciate your patience and listening. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. And you can reach me there, my email address. And again, thank you for your time and have a good day. Thank you very much.